Okay, hopefully everybody's okay with that. And let's see. So this class is set up to be asynchronous, which means there will be times when we are online and we work on our own. There will be times when we're in this class. There will be times when we're in a face-to-face class for 1 hour, and the 2 hours you do on your own. So the reason it is set up that way is that um, because you're going to be leaders in this brand new workplace of post-pandemic, well, it's not even post-pandemic, we're still in pandemic. In a pandemic workplace, we need to know how to communicate in a variety of ways. So I know you've been working on online with with your other classes, or probably at work if that work allowed it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we need to be able to practice that. So the assignments in this class and the discussions are never going to be found anywhere. So if you were planning on looking at Course Hero and bought already a subscription, guess what? It's not the same class, because this class is meant for you to think. This class is meant for us to have a discussion, because I need to bring you to not the way originally. If you look at any of the slides that's available in this on this class online, it is so reading, it's teaching you to be 7 years old, and that is not what this is about. You're adults. I need to get you ready for work immediately. Okay, because you bring in so much experience already. You've already told me some of you have masters, some of you are bachelors, some of you are already working, you have computer science background. So why don't we leverage that and actually understand how that will work in an environment like Canada? It's a Canadian college, but if you want to bring a Canadian experience to India, that would be great too. Because wouldn't it be great for people in your province, in your environment, to actually get more of how did you actually learn? What is the North American way of doing things, right? So that's what that is. So for us, next week, for example, is asynchronous. So don't go to class, just go online. I'll have instructions for you there. And one of the reasons why I can't even be in class next week is that I'm in Dubai next week. I'm speaking on behalf of Canada. I'm at the Canadian Pavilion. So I don't know if you've heard of the Expo 2020 in Dubai, and the Pakistan, India, and oh my gosh, what's the other one? They're in the top pavilions. They're the places to go. So the Expo's goal is to have all of the countries of the planet come in, well, the ones that are nice, come together into one location and share their technology, their knowledge, their business expertise. And I'm one of 4 AI, artificial intelligence specialists in the country, wherein the government has given me funding to talk about the ethics of AI in robots. I literally have robots in my house. So because I can't get to a lab, because we are at home, we can't be at an office. So I'll show you a little bit of those photos. You can see what I do on Instagram if you happen to be on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok if you like TikTok. If you want to be on, if you want to look at YouTube, look for your Yap with Dr. Yap on YouTube. I'm all over the place. I have 100,000 followers. So, I can find things and I can find you. So the beauty of artificial intelligence. So anyway, that's why I'm not here, and we're going to have a chat then. Week 4, we're going to have synchronous. Week 5, synchronous. Week 6 is 1 hour synchronous. The rest of the time, we're going to be asynchronous. Again, back to synchronous on 7th. Week 8, which is March 3rd, that's a reading week. For those who are unfamiliar with that, we also use the term intersession. That's when we have essentially a break. But a lot of professors use it to prepare you for a midterm or an exam. Any of the quizzes that you'll see here are divided into multiple parts, which I will go to in a bit, because this class is not supposed to be meant to be difficult. It's meant for you to learn to think differently and to communicate differently. So don't memorize things. I don't pay attention to memorization because why? Don't copy things because that's easily findable. I can find that you've done that. Um, I would want to hear from you, right? I want to hear what you're thinking and how your brain works. And along the way, we can then have a better discussion on how we. That's why there are debate portions. They're not debates as in angry fighting. It's not that. It's debate. It's different points of view, and then let's have a discussion on, do you take a stand on your perspective, or can you be swayed by somebody? So those are fun activities, at least to me. So hopefully to you as well. We have so as you can see on the left side, synchronous, asynchronous. So hopefully you then understand what that means. On the right side, so of course you will get to see what we're studying about. Because the book is free, make sure that you have a copy and we will follow along the book along the way. Um, for example, next week it says quiz one, part one. Um, these are discussions. They are not, they're part of the quiz component. So quiz is 10%. It's divided into discussion posts. So make sure you answer the way I've crafted it in the question in the discussion boards. So you will see it. It says discussion, and then you kind of answer that way. Um, and then you want to make sure that you answer other people's posts, because it wouldn't be a discussion if you don't actually have a conversation with somebody, right? It kind of makes sense. Um, and then so the next one here, written submission. So you're going to submit something. I will post all of that before those times so you know what we're doing. And they're not massive. They're not like 40-page documents. There's no point to doing that, because when you're communicating as a leader, you're not going to be writing 40-page documents. You are going to tell people what is happening, why it's happening, um, whatever the scenario is, what are the thoughts that you have around that, what decisions you've made, and what are the next steps that you're going to do. We do that a lot in our day-to-day anyway, right? So whenever we make a decision, we go through that process in our brain. We just need to make it a little bit more um, succinct, clear, as well as appropriate for the context for the case that you're working on. That's kind of what that is. Okay, so what questions do you have on this course outline before I continue? I can take a sip. No questions means everybody's in agreement.
Sir, I have one
Yes.
question.
Go ahead.
If there is anyone who is not able to be on the classes, like physical classes, so what should I do?
Well, the class was set up to be physical class, so you miss that class, you miss it. Just like if we're in face to face, I'm not going to go back to that discussion. You missed that class. You can listen to the recording, but if there was an opportunity for points for that particular week, you would have missed it.
That means you are going to post the recording physical class?
We're going to post the recordings of the synchronous classes, yes. But if the synchronous class had a discussion point, so that this one, for example, week 4 synchronous,
Yes.
and there is a post in here, right? So that's written, so that's fine. But if it is here it says presentation in class, and there's a 5% in there, and you happen to miss this, you would have missed it already.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
again, we're adults. I am not hand holding you. I am not going to be, we've had enough of the COVID excuses. So let's move on, right? We all know we have issues with everything. I've been sick myself. So I get it. But there is a point of determining if that is used as an excuse, a valid excuse, or if it's just, oh well, I'm juggling things, and you know you have to be nice to me kind of deal. So because the moment one person gets anything, everybody else has to, it has to be fair for everyone. And then it just screws up everything. So schedule's the schedule. Even in the workplace, you have a deadline, especially if you have a project that is due. And I'm going to show you a bridge that you know that's in India that's still not done. And you tell me why it's not done and what's going on there. Right? So that's one of our activities here. Any other questions you may have? Closing that. Okay, so let me show you about the, oops, a lot of windows coming up here. There is an APA. Anybody have you all heard about APA? No, not yet?
Not for me, no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So for those who have gone to your masters, have you heard of APA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more
But
about that, Marvin.
we didn't use it in our course because most of the professor request us to give normal Word file. So I heard about that, but I have not that much experience. But as far as I know that we have to make sure about the spacing and page setup, all that things in APA.
Okay. Oops. Arwinder, you're writing on my screen. So do not annotate my screen yet. So that is funny. Okay. So APA 7th edition. So if you Google that, you'll get into this Purdue online lab. No problem. Okay, so here's a way to go around this. This is a little bit of a writing hack. So a lot of us writers use the Purdue Online Writing Lab. It helps you very quickly on anything that's APA, because I'm not the only professor that will require you to cite, or which means to identify where you found the particular quote that you're doing. And it is so easy. So for example, I want to cite myself. What would be a good site? So for example, CNN. Okay. Okay, well, there you go. Let's look at this one. It's, I don't know if you've seen The Office. There's a comedy. Anyway, I looked at the, oops, not that. I was gonna go to the URL. Hello. Okay, suddenly my screen is being slow. Okay, website. So there's a couple of choices: book, journal, whatever. So that's a website. I click on site. And so it says it found one. So you want to pick, because sometimes the website can have multiple entries. Click on site. It's being slow. Okay. So now it gives you, why is it being weird to me today? Okay. So it gives you the information on website, date access, date published, and so forth. So when you write your URL and you're trying to look for, oh, so many pop-ups going on. You're trying to look for how you cite it, what the parts are to cite it, then you do it this way by grabbing all this information. And then you formulate it to your to the format that you need. So for example, complete the citation. So I just clicked on, oh, come on. Oh, now it's by, it's by fee now. This used to be free. Now it's making you pay. Okay, well, I don't want you to pay. That's just weird. Okay. I'll give you a different way of doing this. Okay. So I have a website, an author, a book, for example. Sorry, I thought somehow when I looked at this yesterday, it was not. I didn't realize I have an account, so I'm not going to show you that because that's just going to make you pay, and we don't want that. Okay. To get you very quickly to citing and getting an example of how to cite, still go to the Purdue OWL. It's called OWL, OWL, Purdue University. You will see the APA style here. And in this would be examples of how you reference a book here, an article in a periodical, or an author, and so forth. Once you see an example like this, for example, all you need to do is replace it with the information that you have on the article or the book. In this case, it's an article. And if you see, this is the author, which is right there. That's the date, which is the year there. Title of the article is what's in here. And then title, periodical, and volume number in italic, which is what that is. Issue number, and then pages. And if this happens to come from a website, then you add the website there. Okay, so like this one right here. Okay. So it's just a quick way of doing this rather than you trying to figure out, oh, how do I do APA? And that's just going to confuse everybody. Okay. Next thing that we need to do, by the way, I'm going to have breaks as well. So here's a question for you. So for our 3 hours, would you have one break halfway through the 3 hours that's longer, or do you want 2 breaks after every hour that's shorter? What would you like?
After every hour.
Sorry, Afreen, say that again.
After every hour.
After every hour. How about you, Jaskaran? You unmuted, so.
I'm fine with one break.
Okay. Let's debate
Yeah.
that.
I would prefer the short breaks one.
Okay.
Yes, I
Jaskaran?
would also prefer the short break.
Okay.
Short break.
But I prefer say one break long.
Like it will be a little longer, so we can also get some
We-
snacks in that time.
Yes,
I
yes.
know. So
Yes, that would also do.
did
You
you
can
just
have a
change
poll
your
in the
mind?
chat.
Okay, so how about we do this? We try one, we try the other, and we see what happens. So because we
Let's have a
start,
poll in the chat.
because we started a bit late today, let's have a break at 10 o'clock. And then for next time, we'll do every hour. How's that? Sounds good?
That's
Sounds
Ah,
good.
all
yes,
right.
yes, yes.
Fine.
Okay, so you have 30 more minutes. Hang with me. Okay, so 1 second. I've lost my place in my slides. Where is my slides? Okay. Okay, well, I've already talked about the ebook, and you want to make sure that you get a copy of the ebook. And the APA kind of looks like this. There is a guide in our book. Sorry, not a book, in our content section of our D2L or iLearn. So sometimes I would say D2L. That's the company that created iLearn. So it's the site that you went to look for your classes. So sometimes I would say D2L, sometimes I would say iLearn. It's exactly the same. So just so you know. Okay, so this is clickable. So you actually will be able to click this. It's also in our course outline. Once you do that, I'll show you how easy this is. But I already created an account. You probably will be asked what's your account. You want to create an account. Have you done the accounts yet from last week with your other classes?
No, sir. This
No,
one
sir.
is pending.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Okay. So all you need to do is, your student ID and your password, it'll be a pop-up before this page comes up. Type that in, it'll say create a new account. Once you have a new account, then you get in here and it'll say online available. You literally would just say, click on that. It goes to this link here. I click on it and it goes to the book itself. And it says, do you want to read it online? Do you want to download it? Or do you want to download the chapter? It'll take forever if you do chapters, because really, why would you do that? Just get the whole book so you can read it anywhere. It doesn't have to be online the whole time. So the moment you download it, it becomes available for you for the semester. And then just like Mission Impossible, it just disappears. It just magically vanishes. I'm like, so last semester, I'm like, really? I have to download this again? I'm like, I'm the professor. And then they said, no, it only works for the semester. That's why it's free. I'm like, fine. So I had to do this again the other day. So when I can't download this anymore because it'll say, hello, you already have a copy. Stop getting a bunch of copies. What happens is that you get in here that you then now can see the book. So, it's a book, just like anything. On the left side, there's introduction and so forth, right? So it's just gigantic. I need to make this smaller because seriously, my eyes are not that big. Okay, there you go. See, it already says my session expired because I had it open since yesterday. So I actually had to go out, go back in again, and then show it. See, everything is just going to. So as you know, as you see from my screen, if you leave it on, it'll be like, nope, you're not reading it. So it kind of knows. And interestingly enough, because you downloaded it there, I actually know if you've read the book or not. It tells me, it gives me a report. Oh, Jaskaran did not read this, or he's been looking at this page for 20 minutes. It is the craziest thing. I'm like, oh my God. So, I don't want to know all of that, but apparently it's there. And it's useful for people who say, oh, but it's not in the book. I'm like, you didn't read that book because I can see when you've read it or not. So just so you know, I apparently have that power. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, this one says, nope, you've not been here. So I'm getting out of it. So, and then if I click on bookshelf, I have to log in again. So I sign in. And so now this is what you see when you've already had the book. It says downloads and loans. It's essentially not a purchase. It's like, I'm just lending this to you. Don't even think that you're going to get this. And then it tells me how many hours I can still look at it for the day. It's kind of funny. And now if I look at the introduction again, it'll show up again. Isn't that cool? So then, interestingly enough, my access goes to my boss. And my boss will say, Robin, you're not using the booking class. I'm like, really? Are you that petty? It's like, are you looking at everything? So yeah, so they get reports too. So it's kind of like everybody gets a report of everybody. So just so you know, that's what's happening with that book. Okay. So I'm going to switch back to our screen. Where is it? Where's my screen? One moment. Okay. So that's the book. That's how you cite our book. So if you want to cite it, that just copy this and put it on your paper. And then we have a second one that's a reading. You do the same thing. You click on this, and much like what I have seen before, if I go to my bookshelf, it is the second book that I have in here. It's called Managing Technology-Based Projects. And there you go. Again, too big. Nobody can read that. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Okay, so we have two books. They're free. Go grab them. All right. And that's how you cite our second book. So again, copy, post it on your reference. So these are photos of my robots. So in case you're wondering, I wasn't lying. I actually have robots. I have small robots, I have big robots. I teach at George Brown College in Toronto, as well as here. I also am a visiting professor in Spain, in a university called Schiller University in Madrid. And I have to do it in Spanish. So if you speak in Spanish, we can chat. Um, Sometimes I am a guest lecturer at Oxford or New York University. I went to school at Cornell, so that is my fellowship. I don't know if you know the college; it's like Harvard, but in New York City. Sorry, in New York State. It's a lot closer to me because I live in Toronto. But prior to me living to Canada, I lived in New York City. I was a director for a company called Accenture. I don't know if you know the company. Hopefully, it's not as big as Tata, but it's a consulting firm. It's all over the world. Um, and as you can see on the left side, I've been in executive roles in a variety of uh, companies, anywhere from technology company all the way to um, consulting companies. I have 4 textbooks. I have 30 languages. I have 30 trade publications. I speak a couple of languages that nobody can speak. I speak Indonesian. That's so weird. And I'm not Indonesian at all. But I just learned it when I was a kid. And my mother and I, for fun, decided to learn it. And we're the only ones who can speak it in our family, which is so fun because we make fun of my siblings and my dad with when they don't understand. It's perfect. That's what you do when you have kids. Teach them. I have a brother who speaks Mandarin, and it kind of works because I'm a yap, and you would think I'm Chinese, but I'm not. But yeah, so my oldest brother speaks Mandarin. None of us speak it. So him and my dad kind of, I think they were just testing us. They were probably like, you know, guinea pigs when we were kids. We were part of an experiment because both of our parents are doctors. They're both educators, and they love doing experiments on just research, right? And they were both of them research people. Just like me, I'm a social scientist, so I study people and I study data about people. So I combined my background in computer science with my background in psychology and organizational behavior. And that's kind of what I do in my own firm. I have a company that I run that has a branch in Madrid. So it's perfect because I go there anyway. So yeah, it's pretty exciting how that works out. But yeah, so this one here is the YouTube space. It's now owned by George Brown. YouTube left Canada. There used to be spaces, a YouTube spaces where influencers go in, they record whatever it is they're doing in their channel. So this was a kitchen format. That's all fake. This is not real. so um, so that's a studio. And the interesting thing about the studio is these panels turn and they switch into a different location. So suddenly it looks like a bedroom, and then they turn again and they switch just like a studio, right? So it's kind of fun. This a non-working refrigerator. I left my food here one day and it spoiled, and I'm like, it's not plugged in. It's apparently not working. So that was funny. I learned my lesson. None of the faucets work. I'm like, this is so fake. So anyway, so that's kind of what that is. This is one of our largest computers. He is named Max, and he can lift 200 pounds. It is meant to help companies like Amazon to move, those giant crates. Once they're all packed, they're in a crate. It lifts it, it puts it in a truck. So that's kind of what it does there. This one is a social robot, much like this. These are brother sister, we call them. So one is called Micah, the other one is called Alex, and they essentially all they do is they talk to people and say hello and can we help you? What are you doing? So they've replaced our receptionists, especially since they have sensors and they can pay attention to what's going on a lot more than if it's a human, and we can then put that human to do other things. So our receptionist is now an administrator. So she got promoted. So we never fire people, we just promote them or give them a new skill. They get to learn how to manage the robots. I have another robot all the way at the back there. This one is sitting at a storage company in Toronto called XYZ, or as Canadians say, XYZ. So if you want to sound like a Canadian, say XYZ, or process rather than process. And I still learn to do that because although it's been many years I've lived here, I was educated in an American kind of education, right? Not Canadian. Anyway, oops, sorry. What am I doing? These things are going the wrong way. There you go. These robots, I love them. They are tiny and they have facial recognition. So all of these robots have AI, so they're all learning every single time. And I've made these robots talk to each other to the point that now they seem to speak their own language. Sometimes we would hear them go, shh, and I'm like, what is happening? Why are you talking to each other? So it kind of freaks me out. Sometimes I think there's ghosts in my house because the robots start turning on, and I'm like, did that robot turn you on? So one robot will turn on one robot. I'm like, I've made Alexa and Google Assistant talk to each other. And that was funny because Google Assistant has what's called the pretty please algorithm. And that means it's set up to be polite. So when you say thank you to a Google Assistant, it'll actually answer back and it'll say welcome or whatever. I put this on my somewhere. Where did I post it? Oh, my Facebook, I think. So I'm going to put it on TikTok one day. If you have TikTok. Do you have TikTok in India? You do, right? Or you don't? I don't know.
It's banned in India.
No, sir.
Yes, we
Banned,
had
sir.
before, but now
Mm.
it's banned.
What? You know, there's such a thing as VPN. You know VPN?
No, it don't work on a VPN.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay, time
tried
to go to
VPN.
Canada. So
VPN, using VPN, we can open it through the website, but the app is not working.
oh, so you can see it through a website. Okay, well that's good. At least you can see it somewhere. I know. I need to get rid of some of my apps because I'm going to Dubai. I may not be allowed to go in with my weird apps that I have. So yeah. Okay. So that's kind of what I do. And if you want to learn more about what I do in my research, that's always fun. I'd love to talk about that. I learned a lot. And again, I'm one of 4 people in the country given by the government tons of money. I actually got 1.2 million Canadian dollars to work on this because I have the expertise on understanding not just the robot side but the people side. And so I applied for a government grant, and they only give this grant to the 4 of us in the country and in different provinces too. So although there are 2 of us in Ontario, which is funny, one of them is in University of Toronto, and then it was me, somebody in Alberta at Athabasca University, and then the last one is in BC at UBC, University of British Columbia. So yeah, I was very happy that I got that. But I've been in this lab for 3 years. I've used up all the money. I'm literally down to like 20,000 bucks that somehow needs to last me until the end of April, at the end of the semester, because these 3 kids are my students. So they're in my lab and I pay them to essentially work. So this lady is a computer science major, so she works on this. This guy, Vivek, is a marketing person. So he does all of our social media. And then this guy, James, he is an HR person. So he does a lot of our other hiring because we use it for co-op, all of those things. So yeah, it looks like there's only 4 of us, but in reality, there's more. There's probably this semester we have 23 people in our lab. So these are our lab people, as I'm explaining what this thing can do. Anyway, so just that. I can just go on talking about that. It's always fun. Okay, so some of the words I don't understand, so you have to explain to me what this guy just said. Hopefully you speak his dialect. And what does this say? Is it the same as this? What does this mean?
It is saying that there's a river called as Chenab.
Perfect.
Chenab is the name of the river,
Right.
and a bridge which is like said to be the world's highest bridge, railway bridge,
Okay.
is ready over this. So it is connecting. This bridge is the world's highest bridge, which is built over Chenab River.
All right. So listen to him. We're not gonna listen to his whole. It's a very long video, but we're gonna listen to a part where he goes and actually sees it. Tell me what he's saying, and then we'll talk about what the challenges are happening around this bridge. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna make this bigger. How do I make this? Oops. Can you hear him? Yeah. Can you hear
We
the
can
music?
just hear the
No.
music as of
Okay.
now.
Yeah, he's gonna talk in a bit. 1 second. I don't know why it stopped. Hello, go back. Talk.
हम कुछ कहना चाहोगे इधर नहीं पास आके
बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ उसको अभी तक स्टिल आई एम वेरी एक्साइटेड और ये बहुत बड़ा यार
सेम यार बड़ा तो दिख
बहुत
रहा
बड़ा
है
है। यहाँ पे एंट्री प्रोहिबिटेड है बट जिसे तरीके से जुगाड़ लगा के यहाँ पे पहुँच ही गया झूठ बोल बोल बोल
बहुत है यार इसके आगे तो रास्ता भी बंद है इतना काफी है थंबनेल तो आ ही रहेगा इतने में बस बस ठीक है यार थंबनेल ले लेता यहाँ से ले लिया चलो आ गया मतलब इतने में मेरा हाइट तो बहुत है सच्ची में
Okay, what is he saying? What's happening?
Right now, they are just like he just went and he is saying that we are not allowed to visit this area, but we said some lies or something like that, and we came, and it is a very big bridge that we can see, and it's an amazing view or something like that, and just like that, normal.
So
Nothing
apparently
else.
it's an illegal video.
Yes, they are not allowed to visit this
So
place, I guess.
this is the problem of somebody who doesn't understand. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's a pretty view. But there's a bigger question that I have for everyone that is appropriate for our discussion today on project management. So what I want you to do, and I'll combine this with a break. So I'm going to put you in a group. So within your groups, let's see, how many are we right now? Okay. Have you done groups yet in your other classes?
Yes,
No.
we have,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
but for 2 minutes only.
Okay. No, this one is a bit longer. So what I want you to do is this. In your groups, go Google the Chenab Bridge because there's a lot of things happening around it. Some say it's ready, some say it's not ready. And it's a project management issue. Why is it not ready when at 2019 they said they were going to be ready? So what has happened? So you need to look for what's going on online. What has happened? What is the failure? Why it's not ready? What, 2 years, 3 years after? And then if you were the project manager, what will you do differently to get it done now? Okay, so 3 things that you need to look for. What is happening? Why was it not on time? What will you do differently? Okay. So I'm going to put you in groups of 5 and 4, I think. And then we come back, we talk about it. But I also want you to, because it's 9:45, by the time you're done, it'll be time for the 10 o'clock break. So how about we take the break, we come back at 10:15. Okay? So I'll leave you in breaks until 10:15. Make sure you do it. Don't just, and this is an example as well. One, to get to know your classmates, but also two, you can't just have one person do the work. So all of you have to divide the work to be able to come up with an answer, and not just one answer, but 1 or 2, 3 answers. Okay. Do you all know what to do? What questions do you have before I put you on groups?
Yes.
Is it possible for you to write the questions over chat also?
How about we do this? Unati, you want to write down what you just heard for
Yes.
everybody? And while you're doing that, just breathe. You had a question. Just breathe. What do you say?
No, sir, I'm not saying. I said it is okay.
Ah, good.
I have. Yes, sir.
See, just breathe now. So Unati just asked just breathe. She already know what to do. So
Okay.
okay, one of you has to write so that we all know. 3 things you have to do. What is one?
What is happening?
What is this
And
project?
what is
Okay.
happening over there?
Okay.
Yeah.
2.
And second
Why
one
is it
is
not yet open?
Okay. 3.
What we will do next
What will
to
we do?
like to get it started.
Perfect. See, you already know. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna put you in groups, and then go have a chat with your group mates. I need you to get to know people as well, especially if you don't know them yet. And these groups are never the same group. So every session that we have, you always go get to meet other people. One of the challenges that I found being in online is that I could never have friends, right? Like it's always so difficult with people because we never get to hang out in the hallway or see them at lunch or something. So I'm creating that space for you to be able to have that conversation, get to know them. They are your network. So make sure that you get their information, and make sure your LinkedIn profiles are properly set up. And I'll explain that to you at a later time on how to do that as well. Okay, very exciting. Let me break you up into 5, nope, 4 groups at this point. Okay, ready? And I'll see you at 10:15 my time. So if you're in a different time zone, make sure that you come back whatever the top of the hour plus 15 minutes. Okay, and go. Make sure you click on join so you're in that group now. We'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. Just breathe, go to your room. There's only one person there. Arwinder as well. Click on the join button. There you go. We have 3 more here. Make sure that you click on the join button so you can get to the room that you were assigned. Harvinder, both of you, please go to your room. Harvinder and Rupesh, you want to make sure you go to your rooms.
Automatically queued us.
Yeah, let me see, because hold on. Okay, because you should still have 15 minutes. Are you, did you ever take your breaks? I'll put you,
No.
I'll
No,
recreate the,
no.
I'll recreate the rooms and then you should still have 15 minutes, okay? So I'll let you go back to your room. Hold on. Did they show up?
Everyone came there.
Why are they not happening? Weird. To turn. Why is that not happening? Weird. Okay, 1 second, please. I'm not sure what's happening. You might be sent to a different room. Whoops. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. I can create the rooms, but it seems like it doesn't know who the people are from the rooms you were at. So I'm going to let you choose the rooms. You know your room number, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
go to the
yes.
rooms you were assigned to a while ago, and then there you go. So choose the room that you were assigned to, and then go for it. You still have until, well, now it's 10:20 because it has taken a while. So go for it. So go back to the room. So Manpreet, what room are you at? Pretender, you know your room?
No, sir. Actually, I forget.
Okay. Do you know who you were with?
That's Unity.
Oh, that's room 4.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So Manpreet, what room are you at? Hello. So Manpreet,
Hello.
hi, what room are you at, or did you join late?
Sorry, sir. I don't know. I don't know what room I have.
Who were you with a while ago?
What, sir?
Who were the people in your room a while ago? Do you know the people in your room?
No, sir.
So you came in late,
Okay,
right?
sir.
You came in
Okay.
late, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on room 2. Go to room 2.
Okay, sir.
You need to click on this your pop up on your screen to be able to get to the room. Hey Sandeep, do you know what room were you at? And Manpreet? Sandeep, do you know which room you were at? They're still in breakout rooms. So
Yeah, I'm with the person Brandon and
got it. You're
Agreed.
on room 1. There you go. Go for it. How about you, Manpreet? Which room were you at? Manpreet? Hello, hello. Manpreet, what room were you at? Which group? Manpreet. Hello. Which room were you at? Manpreet, which room were you at? There you go. Off you go. Where did you go? Hello, hello. Okay.
Hello, sir.
I'm getting there. Okay, why people are still. Are you all back? Not yet.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay, so question for you before we continue. Is this break combo with activity work for you, or did you just all take a 30-minute break? So
So we need break apart from the activity.
Yes,
good.
actually, we spend most of the time in the activity only.
Uh-oh. See, now you have to learn more about how you manage your time, right?
Yes.
So that's actually a good exercise.
Yes.
As project managers, you need to kind of figure out what you need to do to manage your time when you only have been given a couple of minutes, right? So it's good exercise there. Good. Okay. So let me go back to sharing my screen here. And this is what I'd like for everybody to do. Oh, I guess you're not seeing it yet. 1 second. Why can't I show that? 1 moment, please. Screen share. Okay, tell me if you see that, please. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Take about 3 minutes to go to this website, HTTPS. So bit.ly, you don't have to put all of that. bit.ly/ITM in caps 125-bridge01. And then that will bring you to a Padlet that I created, which will be looking like this. And then in here, find your group and respond to your question under this group. So you can expand it, you can post it, you can do whatever you want with it. If you can't click on this, you can click on the plus sign on the bottom right side. Type in, for example, group 1 feedback. And then type whatever you need to type there. Okay. Click on publish and it'll show up here, this card. You know what to do? Here is the link again on the bottom of the screen, bit.ly/ITM all caps 125-bridge01. So one of you type that, because otherwise if it's all of you typing in that group, that'll be a little crazy. So whoever was taking notes for your group, make sure you have that. You can talk about it in the chat here, who's going to type, and then we'll have a discussion on what you've typed. Is anybody typing? Nothing yet. I'm going to do this so you can see both screens. Okay, so the URL is on the bottom there, and then I need for you to post right about that. I'm introducing you to a variety of tools so that when we go back to this tools in the future, you already know what to do. So I know it might be new for some of you, Padlet, but it's very useful for creating conversations, collaborations with a group of people. And it's useful here. So let's practice with that. Jaspreet, you want to be more clear according to the chat on which Harwinder you want to. There you go. So you Jasper said you.
I'm not able to type.
So can you click on the bottom right side of the screen? Right there.
Okay, 10.
And then you type
10.
there.
Okay.
I have 3 people there typing, so that's good. You get to learn a lot of tools from me on this class. So Jaspreet, you cannot type. What's happening?
Cannot type in the
It's not
group.
working, sir. The link is not working.
It's okay. Well, I'll post this long link. But can you see the screen though?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
I
can
able
see,
to see.
So
but
I wonder who the people are here who are typing right now. I can see 3 people here. Do you see my
Yes,
screen?
I'm typing actually.
Yes, I'm
Oh.
also.
So there you go.
Typing.
Did you click on this one here? So don't click on the group. Click on the plus sign on the bottom right side of the screen.
Yes.
And that will bring you to a window where you can type. So for example, you type that, then you type your feedback. Once you're done with the feedback, you click on publish and then it'll show up here. Okay. So we have 3 people typing right now. We have 5 groups, right? So, 4. Were there 4 rooms or 5 rooms? I think there were 4 rooms actually, so I'm going to get rid of this. There you go. While people are typing, how was the discussion amongst you? Were you able to all contribute to this discussion? Was somebody the one taking over? What was going on there?
in my group, we are all able to communicate with each other. We exchange our ideas, and I hope you will like it.
It's good. I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
Cool. How about the others?
We have definitely mutual understanding, sir. Irrespective of background, we have mutual understanding.
Oh, that's
Since day
good.
one.
That's good. Thanks, Afri. Anybody else? Arvinder, you cannot type. Can somebody help? Maybe just put you in the same group, right? Do you mind trying it?
But sir, I can't open the link, so I can't able to type.
Yes, sir. It's also happened with me. I also unable to open.
Okay, so for you who are unable to do that, type it on the chat.
Okay, sir.
Then we can see it. Uh-oh. I have to answer this while you're doing that. My doctor is calling me. 1 second. It's always so scary when you get a phone call from your doctor. I'm like, what is happening? So,
Yes.
oh my, it's crazy. Do. Okay, so Pretender's typing. Just Breed is typing. And there you go. Somebody's typing. Oh, thank you for that. We have one in here. What group were you at on this post? This bridge is said to be.
It is for group 4, but it got published here. I'm sorry for that.
No worries. I think you can edit it. I can edit it. Hold on. You said
I'm
group
not
4?
getting that access, sir.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
It's you said group 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. Imagine this thing has been around since 2002. And they said it's still fierce over bridge stability and safety. Oh, yeah, because it looks like a roller coaster. So
Yes.
that's a little scary. All right, so let's see. Are you all done? Is that, oh, there you go. Group 1, thank you for that, Sandeep. We have 2 more people typing. And Pretender, you're done on your side. I see number 1, but I don't.
Just a minute, sir.
Oh, okay.
I write it, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Group 2 is there. And let's start with group 4. So tell us, so don't read what you've written here because we can all read that, but tell everyone. So we all know what's going on with the project. We all know it has failed.
Yes.
But what
So
is it that we need to do then?
Yeah, so there were 3 questions involved here. So first is, what is this bridge about? So I'd like to say that this bridge is the tallest, said to be the tallest railway bridge, and which is a link between the country with Kashmir Valley. So Kashmir already is said to be a part of India, which has a lot of like issues with regards to rail and road connectivity. So this project was built to have a connectivity for that. And the second question was why it was stopped. So what we found is that it was halted because there were a lot of safety and other issues that they found after a lot of work has been done for almost 6 years. So
Right.
they constructed the bridge, they worked on it for 6 years, but it was halted due to these issues. So the third was like why what we would have done as project managers that time. So I believe is a proper and a very strong planning and risk management should have been implemented. Since it was said to be, since the bridge is unique in its own sense, with lot of strings and like it's like tall, it's in the arc, in form of the arc. So a lot of risk and simulation also is required to
Right.
start a project like this. So if we are stopping a project after 6 years of starting of the implementation, then there was a major gap in planning and risk management. So as project managers, we should have focused more in that area. And for now, when the bridge is complete, then rigorous testing and rigorous and stress testing is involved. So we have to do that as quickly as possible to start it for the connectivity.
Okay, very good. Now, question for everyone. Do you all know where this is located? I don't know if this is the north side of the country. Where is this?
Yes, it is the northmost side of the
North
country.
side.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Topmost.
This is the Jammu and Kashmir between towns, Udhampur, near
Oh,
Jammu.
so is the soil strong? Like, you know how certain areas they're not solid, and that because one of the reasons I read when I was looking at this was
So it is mostly rocks there, like less of
oh,
soil and mostly rock and snowfall mostly. It's a mountain area.
right.
Mountain area, yes.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that, group 4. Let's go to group 1, Sandeep. Or anybody, actually. I don't. Doesn't matter. Group 1. Who's in group 1?
Yes, yes. We
Okay,
are
go ahead.
Veer and Chet.
Go
Sir,
for
this
it.
the bridge is currently under construction because of the some big threats like 359 meters above river, and it's a bed level higher than the Eiffel Tower of Paris.
I know.
And the extraordinary challenge lies like a large number of tunnels to be implemented in high rugged and mountain terrace with Himalaya geology. Well, this is also a national project.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
what are
we
you
have
gonna
some.
do?
Sorry, sir.
What do you need to do? So we all know what the background is. So
Yes.
you can all jump that.
We have some solution like we can hire excellent, good, and experienced employee. We can try to design this project into tunnel. And
what I want to explain here, and he say we can use tunnels. Same as in Asia, they also construct a railway system. In that case, we also use tunnels, which is very useful, and they make 2 or 3 tunnels. That's why we protect the railway from the ruster, because in the tunnels irons and all these things protect from the airs and moistures, so that it is a very useful point.
Very good.
yes.
Any other solutions?
And secondly, we can use fully compacted embankment, which is used to raise the height of any bridge. And if we construct this bridge out of tunnels, then we can use that.
Oops. Yeah. Okay. Any third one? Was that it? Yes. Do I not hear anyone anymore? Uh-oh. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. Somehow I thought I lost connection.
No.
Okay, good. Thank you for that, group 1. How about group 2? Oh, sorry,
I
go
think
ahead.
this why bridge not ready is group 1, but I didn't choose group 1. That's why I'm publishing in group.
Oh, okay.
I can't choose. That's why we have no time, so that I am writing in main area.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there an additional information that you want to share? Viren,
Yes, sir.
was there an additional information you'd like to share?
Not right now. I'm sharing with you already.
Perfect.
Nothing in new. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Thank you.
Who's next? Group 2?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
Yes, sir. The group, the work is under construction, and it is expected to open in December 2020. And for the second question, what about the failures? I think it requires lot of steel, 5,000 metric tons. So the construction didn't get the excess material, due to which I think it is the most important part of the failure of this project. And the second reason is it also requires anti-rusting painting, so the work has stopped due to these reasons. For me, if I go for the solution, I choose we have to plan the project again, and we have to work on it by step. And we also arrange the better and qualified engineers to do the construction again. That's it.
So you're gonna go back and redo the whole thing?
No, not whole thing. I can redo the lack of failures reasons. I can go through the failure reason, not only for the whole project. It is very lengthy and it is still in construction, so I can't do this. So I
Right.
can only concentrate on the failures,
Right.
reason for failures. Okay.
So you said that and that's for the group question as well. You said that there's rust happening right now, right? Which is true. We could actually even see it. The
Yeah.
problem with rust is that the the uh, the time it takes to figure out the solution, that rust continues to actually expand and suddenly start rusting,
Yes, because
right?
of the construction. Yes, construction is stopped over last, I think, 6 months or
I know.
because of COVID. So I think these are the main reason for delay in this project.
I know, and I'm actually afraid that it will continue to rust while everybody's just figuring out what to do. And by the time they fix it, they now
Yeah.
have to clean all that rust out first.
Yes.
But now your structural issue on your steel is not as strong as it was when it didn't have rust, right? So
Yeah.
it's an interesting challenge for project managers to come in. And this is actually a job you can get to, like, because it needs people right now.
Yes.
So tell them you've talked about it in class, and here are your solutions. You can. I've done that before. I've actually just submitted my own ideas on how to fix things to a project, and I actually got the project by just doing it blind. It's a blind response, and it can be done. You can do that. Okay, group three. Sorry, thank you for that. Just brief. Who's group
Thank you,
three?
sir.
Who wants to do group three?
Yes, sir. We were in group 3.
Go for it.
I've already stated in my notes, but I think the main reason for the delay was because this project was very unique in its own way. This bridge was also made to withstand a wind speed up to 266 km/h, and it was also made to withstand many, I think, earthquakes of highest power. So it was a very unique project in my view.
Mhm.
So it was very difficult to time it exactly because it was never made before.
Right.
And all the materials, to take all that material to the bridge was very difficult because of very less transportation.
So what
And
are you gonna
we
do?
also had to make all the material from scratch
Oh, really?
for this specific bridge.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was stated that they also added blast proof steel that was needed to withstand all that wind speed of up that height.
Okay. So what are your suggestions to fix the problem?
Hello.
Go ahead.
I don't think I could have done anything better than that because it was very difficult to create that bridge
I
at that
know.
height.
What did you
So
talk
we
about
can
in your group?
Hello, sir. Marvin here.
Okay.
Hello. So we found the problem that the main problem is about planning, because after starting this kind of project, they suddenly stop the project due to safety reason. So I think that we think that we should think about the safety before starting the problem. So that is not a good planning about the project. So that's the main reason about the delaying the project. We think so. So
Okay.
there should be a strong planning and proper work for complete this project.
And sir, I just want to add more in this. Actually, I'm from the group 3 too. Like Marvin and Jaskaran told that we need a proper planning, and we need a proper material. I like the group 2 and I don't know about the group 1 or group told that it's a rusting problem that is already in the bridge. So this will be checked before the construction of the bridge, because every material who is going to be used in the project must be checked or tested, so that we do not need to do that kind of we do not face that kind of issue in the upcoming time. And this, I think this is one of the biggest blunder by the Indian Railways. Like they are going to build that bridge. It's a world. It is known as world's tallest bridges. So you need to be on the safe side, and you need to check those type of problems who is going to be in upcoming time. So I think the proper planning and the material should be checked before construction, so that we will save our time and our cost who is going to be used and the labor power, because first you will going to install that material. After that you are going to clean that material, so it was quite wasting of the time. So that is the actual reason of delaying the project. So I think this is going to be a better solution from my side.
So here is the challenge that we have. This, thank you for that, by the way. Good job on thinking that proper planning is a good answer. The challenge with that is that you're already coming into a project that is already done, or halfway done, it should say, not really done. And when you're coming into a project that somebody already have started, you pretty much cannot say, oh, you should have done this before you got here, because you're already at this stage. So the challenge that you're going to run into is that how do you now move forward? Not what you should have done before, because what has passed has already passed, right? So what can we do moving forward, knowing that the materials might have an issue, there's lack of transportation, there's structural errors, there is potential for this whole bridge collapsing because of an earthquake or because of high winds. And all of that, you now need to work an answer to towards the next step. Right? So what is the next step? So some of you have already touched into it and saying, okay, well, we can potentially get a better set of construction materials. So what you're doing is you're reinforcing what's already in place to ensure that it actually becomes better, rather than let's redo this, or you should have done this the first time correctly. Does that make sense? How you differentiate a project you're coming in the middle as against a project you're coming in at the start. At the start, it's wonderful because it's a clean slate. It's a blank, there's two mountains. Let's put a bridge. There's nothing in there. But this one, and for the most part, on the jobs you're going to get, the projects are already there. You're being hired because somebody else messed up. That's why you're coming in. So now your solution has to be, what happened? Why is it in the problem? How do we fix that problem? So how do you now fix this? So thinking about what you just talked about a while ago, let's refine it a little bit and figure out what should be the first 2 or 3 things we have to work on. other than materials, because that was my freebie to everybody. And so let's get better materials, let's reinforce. Right? That's one part. What else can we do? Hire people. You said hire better people. So do we fire everybody and hire a bunch of people? I'll just hire everybody in class. Let's just go.
First, we can do is to take measures to stop rusting of the bridge. We should
Yes,
do the paint or something like
exactly.
that, anti-rusting paint,
I
so that
agree with you.
yes,
Yeah, very
decay
good
will
in that.
stop.
Because that rust, as we talk about other things, that's just going to happen. And before you know it, that thing is just going to collapse. So well done. So that's good. What else is there? So while that's being painted, we need to hire people to paint them. We need to get materials to reinforce. What else is there?
As the project is very big, so we should hire the expert and at any corner of the world.
Yeah. This is presuming your presumption though, Marvin, is you have a lot of money on this, right? So
No, sir, because we cannot rely upon our own country. We should also take some help from other country, because we are making the world biggest railway pool. So we should take the help from other. I think so.
I agree with you. The challenge you run, although I was jokingly saying you do have money in the world. This is a government project, right? And governments, any government, will always be holding on to that money. So
Right.
right? So you need to have some. So whenever you're stuck with a money problem, and you will always hear this from any boss, whether you're at Tim Hortons and they'll say you cut down on something to get the process going, it can sell more, or you're at a very big project like this project, it does not matter. Money will always come to play. There are ways around that money. One of which, in this particular case, bridge case, is partnership. So less money. So I do that as a consultant because I could be very pricey. So my going into Dubai, for example, is free, but they have to pay for my hotel, they have to pay for my airlines, they have to pay for my 3 other days that I'm there, that I'm just there because I've never been there. So they pay for all of that, but the actual payment that they normally would pay me going in to speak, I said it's free. So that's kind of how you do that. You can potentially get an expert coming into this bridge to look at and do inspections and do, the updating what the structural updates needed. Could be free, but along the way, you tell them, you know what, we're gonna give you other things that we can give you. So whatever that would be, other than free transportation, free airline, all of those things. A lot of experts like myself love getting free free airline tickets because it's an excuse to go all over the world for free. It's expensive to go to India. How much will it cost us to do? Like, how much did it cost you to come here? Right? Is it like $1,000 now or more than that? I think, right? I don't even know. So,
Not more
It's
than
more than
1,000.
$2,000, sir.
oh my goodness. See, I have not been to India. I don't even know. So now I have to save I now need to find a partner there to pay me to go there. And I'll just say, by the way, I'll just stay here for the next 2 months until all the snow in Toronto goes away. And then I'll come back. I'll come back in May. But yeah, so Marvin, great idea. Just giving you context on what the reality looks like. Okay, so we have people, we have anti-rust, we have construction materials. What else do we need to do? There are about 5 things that need to be done immediately. What are the other 2 you can think of?
I think the roads are not, transportation is lack of transportation, because the bridge is construction on the hills, mountain area.
You see
So I
that?
think we should firstly construct the road to provide the material on time.
Okay.
So it will also help in delaying to construct the project on time.
Yeah, you see this? This should be fixed, because if you're bringing in a giant truck to carry steel to bring it there, you already have a problem. Look at that tiny, like, how are you even bringing things anywhere, right? So you're right,
Yeah.
just transportation and the infrastructure to get the because even on the other side, look how those roads are just, that's not safe. I'm afraid I'm gonna die if I go there. I'll be like, look at all this, it's all not there yet. So yeah. Okay, what else is there? Very good. Last one before we
Thank
go
you.
to the next thing. Anything else? I love what I'm looking at. This is gorgeous now. So it'll be great to go there one day. Who lives close to it? Invite us to your house. we're gonna go there. So,
Yes, actually, Kashmir is very, very beautiful. So you can plan to
yeah.
visit Kashmir. Yes, very, very beautiful. It is said to be heaven on earth.
Oh wow. Then I would have to put that in my list. Where's the Kashmir side? This side or this side? The left side or right side?
It's on the right side.
That's right.
East, you might be east.
Ah, cool. Okay, so what's the last thing that we need to do to make sure this thing actually is doable? So this is a bridge. You can't even walk there. There's nothing yet, right? There's no are we supposed to climb with our hands? I mean, what is happening here? So there's nothing to step on, right? This is so not done. So what do we need to do? What's the last thing we need to do? Is that going to fall off on people's faces? I love that it's like, well, there's something hanging there with a little thread going on. What else should we do? Have we thought of partnering with other cities that have done this before and therefore be able to get not just the expertise? So the thing is though, it's great to get expertise from other countries, but you need local talent. You need somebody who actually knows this, right? Especially if you've lived here, you know what this rock is made of, what it can withstand, all of that. That is something that you always have to consider. Don't just jump into going, well, let's just go to another country or let's just find an expert. Because within yourself, you're all experts of something. And I truly believe that you can find, your own together. And you've seen it here. We've done it together here, right? That together we can think about and go, hold on, what is happening here? I know this particular section here, and I know they have landslides constantly. So would an expert know how to do? They could look at reports, definitely. But if you've lived in that area or you know people in that area, you can actually ask locals. And it's something that we don't really consider a lot. That's why, as a leader in a project management program, you want to make sure you consider the people who are also in that environment, whatever that is, because they're the ones, we call them institutional knowledge. They're the ones who are there, who know what's been going on. They've been there the longest. So never forget that. Never forget, all of that content that they can bring in. So very good. I like this exercise. So hopefully you had fun with that one. And let's see, it's 11 o'clock. We are done 11:30. Okay, cool. Okay, we've talked about this. So these are just terminologies. And let's see what else is in the book. So I'm going to show you how you can read through this. Fairly straightforward. If I can get to my book. Okay, this is the wrong book. That's the Oh, Again with the inactivity. I hate it when I'm getting kicked out. Okay. Oops. Chapter 1. Okay. So in your book, we just talk about, you can see my book, right? Oh yeah, okay. Can you see it? Nope, you cannot
Yes.
see it. Can you see what I'm looking at on my screen?
Yes, yes, yes. We
Oh,
can
okay,
see.
good.
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to look at when you're here and make a note of it. Oh, it says expired. I hate it when that happens. Let me go back, log in again. La la la. Project management and intro. No, not intro. Oh yeah, okay. There is a graphic that is pretty cool here. So these are just definitions, but you can read that. It's easy to read. It's more difficult to figure out what's going on with the world. Okay. So this is what we have done in our Chinad activity. So the current state of what the bridge looks like and what we want the future state to be. And that now becomes the new project. What are the activities we're going to do? So essentially, this graphic is what we just talked about, because this time is running, although this might not be happening still, right? And because of COVID, because of pandemic, this is becoming blurry. It's not fully ready. But then this time is happening. Your rust is already happening. Your business value is actually going down the other arrow. It's going down because your bridge, one, it's not making money. And because visitors will, if it's now ready, visitors would want to go there. It's taller than the Eiffel Tower. Why wouldn't you want to go there and check it out, right? So there'll be business value. There'll be hotels. There's restaurants. All of those institutions around that area will now increase their value. But as nothing is happening, this business value goes down. It goes the wrong way. Okay. So that's what that graphic looks like. And then as we go into the next set of graphics, this is what we talked about as well when it came to what are we going to do with this project. So the project was to fix this bridge to go to the next level so it can be open and ready for everyone. So we've talked a lot about how to create things, how to improve it, what are the things that we need to fix. That we talked about. Regulatory is something that is already in place because the government already said, yes, let's run this. But interestingly enough, there's a social requirement here. As citizens of the country where this bridge is located and knowing what it looks like right now, what do you feel about it? Are you proud of it? Are you like, ugh, it's another project that's not working? What are your thoughts around that?
I feel it's a very good step that Indian Railways have took to design and implement this idea, uh, to have a connectivity to uh, such a place which is very controversial with regards to the climate and everything.
Right.
And they have started this project, and big hats off to the architecture people who have been involved in designing. They have failed because of some gaps, but it was a good initiative. It was a good implementation.
Okay. So you're ultimately saying you're proud of it. They just need to finish it, is what you're trying to say.
They need
Right.
to fix the issues and like finish the gaps,
Right.
like fill the gaps.
So that comment, and I'm sure everybody else has their own thoughts around this, is a social component of a project, because you know that projects like this very much visible to everybody, and they know if it's failing. Everybody know, and then they'll start taking photos. And as you have seen, there's a video that was created, and somebody is now talking about it, whether positively or not. You need to consider that. That's the social component of any large projects that you have that looks like that. Stakeholders, who are the stakeholders of that project? Are you all, raise your hand if you're all stakeholders of this project as well?
Stakeholders are those people which will get affected with this project.
Yeah. So will you be affected by this project?
Uh, we can be if the railway brings some necessary things which can be used to us.
Yeah. When it
But
comes to, go
at
ahead.
some extent, we will also get affected because it will increase the overall economy of India at some point.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, national projects affect everybody, right? So it affects pretty much all the citizens in a lot of ways. Because thank you, Afrin. Yes, we are all stakeholders. So the tourists are stakeholders because ultimately they would want to, you want money outside of the country to go into the country. The countrymen's money will get affected because your money going into taxes goes to pay for this. And the longer it's not working, the more your taxes are paying for it. When that money can be, given to healthcare, to agriculture, to anything else that's going on in the country, right? So that is important to understand when it comes to stakeholders. So whenever you talk about stakeholders, it's not just the immediate circle. A lot of people talk about, oh yeah, it's the people who are in the communities next to the bridge. But yeah, they are immediate stakeholders, but they're beyond that. There are other stakeholders as well. And we need to satisfy their needs to an extent that is doable. So there are things that we can control, like how social media is going to be presented. But if we do our job right, the social media will fix itself. That's why you have, crazy presidents down south who will never be named ever again, would be made crazy decisions a couple of years ago that is messing up the whole planet. So, suddenly that those actions are affecting everybody else. And the last one here is implement or change business and technological strategies. You've clearly said this. You're like, that strategy needs to be fixed. Because clearly the first time it was set up, look what we have. So that is something that you need to put in place. So you've actually done what's in this slide. You've already talked about, what we're going to do, what are we going to change, who are the people that will be affected here, and some social components in there. So that's what that graphic looks like. Here are just a bunch of examples of what gets affected when you have a project. So it's a little bit of a spreadsheet there. And then, of course, we talk about why it's important and not important. And then this one is just what happens when we have, especially when you come from an organization that is a project-based organization. So, for example, Tata, is it their main business is to create projects for other companies and help them out, right? So you're in a project. And when I was at Accenture, that's what I did. I was in a project. And then once that project's done, I go to the next project or the next project. So that's what this is. And as a leader, you want to be right up here because then you manage all of this. To get to this part here, so to get a portfolio. So I had a portfolio, and my portfolio was training. For me to become that, I had to first have a project. I was an instructional designer. I was in HR. I was writing text training materials, and then I got to a program wherein my particular certification for Accenture went to different countries, and then from there it went up to the whole planet, and then from there I got to do other big projects that then they said, Robin, just do all of it. So it's the steps to get to how we become leaders in organizations. Okay. These are just project management and what are the programs. And you can read this if you like that's context to what we have talked about. And this is what the environment looks like. We had an experience on the environment by the groups that you're at. That's why one of the questions that I had was it effective? Well, did you all talk? Did you all contribute? Did you all provide value to the conversations rather than just repeating what's online, right? So moving forward, we do the same similar activities, and you want to make sure that don't just quote what's online. We can all read that, but talk about what does it mean? What you're reading has some meaning to you, right? So let's talk about that. That's much more important. I'm much more interested with what's in your brain than what I can read online. Anybody can read what's online. Okay. This is just life cycle. Now, you probably will be asked to know what the little keys are on the bottom, and not by me, but by your projects. So to actually have you, this is called a Gantt chart, and it is spelled, I'm putting on the chat. Oops, if I can type. And you can Google that if you want. And there are websites that do this, and even Excel can do this, or MS Project can do this. So it's always a good idea for you to learn MS Project as project managers. I don't know. Have you all seen MS Project in the past? Yes? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Go check it out. I think it's free. If you have the 360 account, you should be able to get it. If not, there is a 30-day trial for it. It's always a good idea to be exposed to it now, so that by the time you graduate, and there are classes where they actually would want you to go through this, because they want you to learn about these little diamonds and these little boxes and what arrows mean and what these means. Right now, we learn 4 of the many, many graphics that you see. So that's why project plans have little dots, have little squares, are color coded. All of those things mean something. So in here, it's a simple one that says every single diamond is essentially a stopping point for you to reflect upon how the project is going. And how much are you going to bet there was this big timeline? So the little lines in the middle are timelines. There's this big timeline, and there's already a problem here. There's no diamond here. And I bet you that's what happened with the Chenab Bridge, because they did not check along the way. And then they said, oh, yeah, we're going to be done in 2019 or 2022 or whatever, but never checked ahead of time. They started in 2002. You would have expected them to be checking along the way, and they just kept on going without realizing, oh, well, that one's not going to work, or that one's going to fail. And if they checked earlier, this would have been done a lot quicker, right? So it was very good point for some of you to have that discussion around, oh yeah, we should have had a better plan the first time around. And I totally agree, because this 4 checkpoints is so not enough, especially while you're carrying out your work. Halfway through carrying out your work, so we always suggest you divide it in 4. So at the 4th quarter, and then the half mark, the 3/4 mark, and then the end. Those are the times you check and see where we're going, because the cost at 4th rather than the whole to change is a lot cheaper than to do it later on. And now they have to buy anti-rust paint. They should have done that already, right? So that's kind of what that is in there. And then, of course, these little arrows just point to what needs to be done, essentially. Okay. Then reading, and these are just explanations on what each one of those graphics mean. And then this one, of course, is fairly straightforward. For every action, there's a reaction. So for every decision that you make and every potential solution that you have will have a possible output. So you predetermine what those are ahead of time so you can anticipate potential issues that will happen. Because every solution that you have can go off on a positive way or sometimes negative, and you be ready for those negatives for what one of you has said, risk mitigation, which is very important. Okay. So these are fairly straightforward here. And then these are just groups. Each later on, we're going to talk more about this, wherein each one of you within the group discussions in class will play a role of one will hand money, the other one will talk about risk, the other one will talk about communications and so forth. So we'll come back to this slide in the future. And then this one is how instructions are communicated. So remember, this class is not just about being a leader in a project, but also how you communicate with everybody else in the project. So this is a good starting point to look at what type of communication that you're going to have between different phases in your project. So when you're executing, the communication that you have there would be different from a controlling, and controlling would be more of, just breathe, you were not done yet. Come on, hurry up. I can't just say that because that's just rude, right? I
No,
can't just
no,
go,
I'm listening. I'm
no, no, no.
listening.
No, I wasn't I wasn't pointing at you. I was giving
No,
an
no.
example. Okay, don't take it personally. But
No, 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 no.
so the communication on a control, an example of controlling communication is essentially just wait, we're not done yet. So that is not the best way of saying it. There's a better way of saying things to make people, continue on, right? And be motivated and be excited about. So that was funny. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking of an
Hello.
example. That is so cool. Okay. So, and then the project control would be at the end, and to be ensuring that the reports that go to the appropriate people are properly phrased. So a report that you send to an executive, like a vice president and so forth, will be a different report that you would send to a director or a manager, right? So, and here's a bit of a quick question. Which one would be more detailed? The one that you sent to your manager or the one that you sent to your manager's manager? Which one would have more details on it?
I think we have a better understanding with our manager. So I will try to send to my manager.
I agree. So when
We
it
should
comes,
follow the hierarchy.
yes. So the higher it is from that hierarchy, the more overall that you're providing a report in, and the one closest to you would know your day to day. So would know what's happening day to day, and therefore you provide them with more day to day type report, right? To tell them, oh yeah, because this particular employee failed in this activity, therefore it affected this activity. By the time you get to an executive, you just said, there was a failure, we're fixing it. Right? You're not naming names anymore and whatever, because they don't really care at that point. They just need to make sure the whole project is working at the designated time frame that they've expected. So yeah, I had to learn that the hard way, because as I was going up from being an individual contributor to a manager to a senior manager to a director, by the time I was at the director level, I was like, so what did so and so do? And then my managers would be like, Robin, you don't really need to know that. Just know that it's going to be fixed. But I'm like, but I want to know. Give me the gossip. It's like, no, no more gossip going on for you. So my own senior managers were pretty much coaching me to say, you don't need to know this. We're taking care of it. That's why you hired us. Remember when you were this job, you knew what's going on, but so I had to let go, and it was a bit difficult to do that. But now I'm like, okay, well, let me tell you how it's done. But that's, along the way, you get to learn. All right, I have 9 minutes to go. Life cycle is important to I will keep on referring to this in the future because that's just how projects go. When we always start with some needs assessment, what is needed, why do we need to have a project, all the way to, what are we going to do when it's done. Again, you will see there are only 4 of these diamonds. So if you submit to me anything that has 4 diamonds, make a note now. It has to be more than 4, okay? Because we can't just have, a start and then well, especially here, you would want another one in here. I would say 2 more in here. Okay. So at 4th of the project, it just makes better sense to do that. Okay. I think that is it for that chapter. Yeah, everything else you go read if you feel like it. It's a lot of definitions, and we're on week 2 or chapter 2. Okay, so we've achieved that activity and what we need to do for the week. We're all caught up for week 2. There are how many parts here? 2 parts. Do you see the left side of my screen? There are 2 parts to this book, and it goes really fast when it comes to part 2 because it's just steps, and these are very useful. Are you going to apply for PMP later on? You know what the PMP exam is? It's
Yes.
project management. Yeah. So the classes that you've taken here prepares you for the PMP. So you want to make sure you do that. I mean, you've already gone to the class, right? Got a certificate too. So investigate that later on. But for now, just keep it in mind that any of the things that you learn, especially in our class here, prepares you for certification as well. And that is especially if you want to work in Canada. The hiring managers love certifications. So interestingly enough, little quick story. I have a doctorate. When I applied for a job at TD Bank, one of the questions they have, because I was going to run all of training development, right? So 130 people, big job. One of the hiring managers who do not know anything about the job or the industry said, so do you have a CTDP, which essentially is a PMP in training, certified training and development professional? And I'm like, I have a doctorate, right? Like I actually have done all of that already. And then she said, well, this job requires you to have a CTDP. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, let me talk to your boss, because seriously, that does not make any sense. So I did. And interestingly enough, I found one of my friends who's friends with who my boss was going to be. And I just had the strong need to explain myself to the boss. And I said, well, before you even make a decision, let me tell you what my background really is. And then I kind of like dumped the whole experience. I said, let's have an informational interview. It is a very Canadian thing to do. So use those words, informational interview. Essentially, you're not looking for a job. You're just trying to understand what the job is. So when you're applying, you already know what is expected, and you can phrase your resume to fit whatever that role is. So I had an informational interview with her, and I said, but just so you know, this is kind of what my background is. I think we need to fix the way the job description is and the requirements for this particular role, because it's a vice president role. Hello, it is not a senior manager role. And she's like, you're right, and you should fix it. And I was hired. And it was interesting how that happened. I don't think it always happens. Sometimes people might say, who the heck are you? Why would you do that? But you kind of have to figure out. And I was able to figure it out because I knew somebody, right? So that's why Canada, especially in Toronto, notorious for networking. So you cannot find a job by just submitting a resume. However wonderful for your resume is, it's difficult sometimes to get a job just sending a resume. You always have to know somebody, and you always have to have informational interviews. So make sure that's part of what you do. So although you're online, send a what do you call this? A LinkedIn request for people that have that will have the informational interview opportunity for you. And there's a company called Triac. So if you wanted to suggest, so I went to a Triac myself. It's the Toronto Region Immigration and Employment Council, I think is what it's called. And they have a mentoring program. It's free. You get partnered with somebody who's an executive, and then that executive is going to help you find people to connect with. It's amazing. So it was the only way for me to get connected to anyone, and it was free. I was like, why not? I don't know how it is now. I mean, this was 15 years ago when I did this, but go check it out if it's something that's useful for you, and might be useful. So Triac, and then join their mentoring program. The other one that you would want to join is called Mentor City. So Mentor City is another opportunity for you to get mentors in the country for the industry that you're looking to go to. So it doesn't matter if you're still in India, but if you want to work in Canada, start doing that now. Everybody's online anyway, right? So why not take advantage? And you'll get your foot in the door ahead of everybody else who are waiting to come here. So why wait? Just do it already. So it's not going to hurt you to have a conversation with somebody. Okay. So that's it for me for today. Remember, next week I am not here. So sorry, we can't have a chat, but we will have an online conversation. So you want to make sure that you fill in the questions. It wouldn't be that difficult. So you want to and it's all individual work, and there will be points for it. So it's a 5-point discussion. So you want to make sure you follow the instructions properly. So respond to at least 3 of your classmates' responses. So if Jaskaran, for example, posted a response, my response is blah, 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 blah. Jaspreet needs to answer one of your classmates and would say, Jaskaran, I agree with you because blah, 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 blah. So don't just say, I agree, I disagree. That doesn't tell us anything. Tell us why you agree, why you disagree. Remember,
Okay.
right? Remember, we want to know more about, what you're thinking. So
Okay.
sounds good?
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yes,
sir.
Got it.
Good. Okay. Any other questions before we end the day?
Attendance, sir.
Attendance. I don't do attendance because your participation in your assignments, in your posts, become your attendance. So we don't really do
Thank you.
attendance in Ontario. We do discussion points. So if you don't answer a discussion point and the week has passed, that discussion is only available for that day. Sorry, for that week that it's open for asynchronous. For synchronous ones like our sessions here, once we're done with this class, we're done with this class, right? So I will do, this week has no points because we're still getting to know each other. But moving forward, that's why you want to look at your course outline. When we have, it says synchronous and then there's a point next to it, you better be answering that week because you're actually being marked for your contribution for that particular week's discussion in class. Okay? So my request is just appear in class, have a chat with us. I mean, it's not that difficult. We've had conversations like this. It's not me asking you, name me the 5 things, and like, seriously, why? Go Google that. You can find that. I would rather be asking you, these are the 5 things. What do you think about it? And then tell me what you think about it. And then you get a better grade that way. Because the more you just copying what's out there, it's not going to happen. So tell me what's in your brain and I will help you expand your ideas of what the world looks like. I'm an old man. I just share with everybody what I think. So, okay, good. It's 11:30 my time. It is time for me for a break because I have a 12 o'clock class where I have to do this all over again. So I'm teaching the next ITM class. So don't tell them what you just learned here. So, okay, see you. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
sir.
Bye,
See ya.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye,
Bye.
sir.
Bye, sir.